Okay, I'm gonna go into edit mode, scale it a little bit because it's a bit small. I'm gonna just turn on the screencast so you can see what I'm pressing. In the viewport overlay, I'm gonna turn on statistics and annotations. Annotations is only for you because I'm gonna do a little bit of draw over from time to time. Okay, just let me drag out the UI so you can see what kind of brush I'm on. Okay, I think we can go. So I'm gonna start with a grab tool and drag from the front view. I'm actually gonna change the focal length a bit. You should do it too, so the head looks the same. I'm just gonna fatten up the sides a little bit, but as well as shorten up the top. Flatten up, go into side view and make the head actually bigger, because we need to fit in those big brains. I'll drag a chin out a bit. So what I'm looking, usually drawing tutorials are very amazing at learning the proportions and feature of the face. In one of the drawing tutorials, I learned that the top is like an egg shape. Excuse my horrible drawing skills. So this top is the egg shape and this one is like a boat sail. What we're looking at, so just keep that a bit in mind. I recommend you watching some drawing tutorials if you're not sure, because they are like much faster way of you seeing what to do in the anatomy and proportion of the head. Okay, so I'm already seeing that I have not enough vertices. I'm just gonna increase the voxel remeasure to 0.05 and activate it. So gonna have 25,000. If it's not 25,000 for you, you can just try lowering the value, but don't go too extreme, because if you just pressing it down and you're gonna remesh, it's gonna change really big. It doesn't change too big where the numbers are going like till 2, but 2 is gonna be pretty horrible, but after the 1 everything is gonna be very laggy, so just be very careful. I'm gonna go with 5. Okay, so we have kind of the basic shape. I'm gonna add as well a neck soon. I'm just tweaking a little bit at what I prefer, and you should try to follow the shape quite close, but it doesn't have to be the same. I'm gonna go in top view, and usually when you start from the sphere, the end of your skull gonna be very narrow in, when in reality the skull back is usually even a bit thicker than the front of the skull. So I'm just gonna increase the mass. Look at the front view, and okay. I'm gonna go at the bottom, press on M to get a mask. Gonna mask out the proportion, press A and invert the mask. And I'm gonna use the drag, go to the side view and drag the neck. So neck is not down, not in front. Neck actually goes a bit to the side. I'm gonna press A, clear the mask. Go back to my grabbing tool. I'm gonna voxel remesh, because after the dragging the vertex is gonna be messed up. And I'm gonna try fixing the shape of the neck so it looks a bit more natural. Okay, what I'm looking at the neck is having a nice flowing shape. From this one, it's more like this. So when I add the muscles, it should look something like that. I'm gonna add another color just in case you don't see. The flow, bump, inner bump, a nice beautiful flow of the neck. Okay, I'm just gonna smooth out a little bit. Let's go to the front and try and start shaping the head. I'm gonna use the draw sharp, draw the line somewhere in the 1/3 of the head. We're probably gonna change the position of the eyes later on, so don't be too much like, oh, it's not in place. Just like now, I see that my head might be a bit too small. It's a lot of tweaking. I'm gonna draw a holes for the eyes. And I'm gonna draw the hole for the side. Actually use gray strips to take out a bit of the sides because we don't need it right now. And with script we're gonna make everything a bit more flat and smooth up. Just a small tweaks, making the neck a bit thicker at the end. Probably made the neck a bit too long. Okay, so I think this is where we end with the head. Welcome to the part 2 where we're gonna sculpt the nose. So let's just go. The third thing, I see that I'm not gonna have enough of vertices, so I'm just gonna increase. I'm being cautious on how much I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna try putting, yeah, I think that's enough. 0.025. I'm just gonna smooth the shapes because after adding more vertices everything is very flat. Now it's much better. I'm just gonna change the matte cap, and you as well should try and test out a lot of different matte caps you have and choose the one you like. If you like mine, I'm gonna put in the link on where you can get it. Okay, so let's start with the nose. I'm gonna just use the clay strip to draw the shape. Only worry about the bridge. When you have something poking through the mesh, you can go to the side view and use the grab tool. So now we can see what the nose bridge actually is doing. There's a few ways you can draw a nose bridge shape. I'm gonna show the one I like. So the head usually goes, the head usually goes quite ovally shaped. And the nose comes in being quite flat and having a nice drop line. It can definitely be drawn a lot of different ways, but try to follow my shape. It's gonna be a bit easier. You can have a bit of the inner side have a bump. So don't worry too much, but try to stay close to my shape. Okay. I'm gonna take out a bit from the side, so we're gonna have a flatter surface to work with, which is gonna be a bit easier for us to control. I'm gonna smooth it. Everything looks very same thickness, which is good for now. When you have a bridge, go to the side view and use the brush you like. I'm gonna use the clay strips and draw like a bowl shape. Don't worry too much on how big you draw. You always have a grab tool. I'm gonna add some more to the side, build a bump. Now I can draw the holes. I'm gonna use the sculpt draw. It's very good for making the holes. I'm gonna make the nose bottom a bit more flatter. The poking of the nose, because nose can be straight, but I like to add a bit of the bump at the end. Make it a bit more thicker. I already can see that I'm gonna like a bit of the vertices, so I'm very slowly gonna try increasing. Okay, 300 is a lot, but it should be okay. It shouldn't be too hard to control it yet. I'm gonna use draw sharp and draw in the whole nose shape. So what people usually miss about the nose is that the nose actually, from this it goes into nose, and it has this entering. It can be very minimalistic visible, but it's usually still there. I'm gonna just draw on the surface. I'm gonna still thicken this. Another thing is that usually the thickness of the nose should be quite same through all the side of the nose. Mine is a bit thicker, but I'm just gonna increase the size of the nostrils. Don't be afraid to smooth, but just don't use it too much on where you're gonna lose. So we have a pretty simple nose, which looks decent. Welcome to the eye sculpting part, and I'm gonna try and sculpt that as simply as possible. First, I'm just gonna go into layout and add some spheres, go into edit mode, rotate them on X axis 90 degrees, and just try to fit in the place where it belongs. Mirror modifier, where is it? Go back into object mode, select the head, and go back to sculpting. Okay, so first a small explanation. An explanation goes like this. Sorry again for horrible drawing skills. So the eye is like oval, and the top bone of the eye socket usually hides some of the eye. So usually the eye goes a bit more up than down. I will end up probably dragging a bit of the bone down on the eye. And the placing of the eye, you can change it, but don't change it too much. This is where the bone of this ends. I'm gonna have this flat here. The distance between the eyes and the nose should be quite same. That's where I try to put in my eyes. It can be different, but just try keeping on this rule. I'm gonna drag in the nose bridge a bit so we can see more of the eye. Okay, I go to the sculpt draw and draw the eye. It's gonna look very dumb at first, but don't worry about it. As I usually takes a lot of time to get them right. So usually your eyes probably looks like that all the time. I'm gonna try and show what kind of shapes I'm looking. I'm looking to draw the eyes. Usually the eyelid goes like this. I sculpt women most of the time, so I'm trying to have my eyelids look attractive. What you can see is that this corner is lower than right corner. They can be at the same height as well, but don't put this one lower than the left corner. Another thing is on the Asian people eyelid, this, let me just add another color. This eyelid goes in and this one goes over. But on this side for everyone is the same. This one goes over the lower one. Let me just hide them. I'm gonna go to draw sharp. And draw, sharpen the side. What you shouldn't forget is, let me use a drawing again. From the eye, okay. From the eye, the eyelid thickness, it's always the same. Same in here, same in here, same in here. Another thing, the thickness of the eyelid shouldn't be too small. I see so many people doing the mistake of making the eyelid thickness way too small. And nice having like this. It already looks weird, so I'm just gonna Control C. Okay, you have to have a thickness, and it has to be visible. I'm gonna use the draw shaft to draw the lower one as well. Don't mind too much how you form your eyelids at the moment, because we have an amazing tool called Grab. I'm gonna separate the eyelids, use the crease brush, and I'm gonna crease every single part of the eyelid, sharp places to make it a bit better, smooth. Now I can shape a bit with the Grab tool. Make the corner, make the curvature. What is important in eyes is use masks. Masks are so essential to get those tight places look good. And we can just move. I'm gonna check the side. Another thing, the corner goes in. Don't leave it too flat to the face. I'm gonna use the draw sharp and just crease the sides. And draw the spherical shape around. This was a simple eyes. Next we're gonna go with the mouth. So let's just go. I'm gonna delete the annotations first. Okay. And let's go. Clay strips. And what we should start to know about the mouth is that the mouth is on a bump. So we're gonna draw a bump of the shape where the mouth should be. Don't draw too big, but yeah, it is quite there. I'm gonna smooth. Might look weird, but don't worry. Draw sharp, and let's form the lips. Okay, I'm gonna draw over and we'll tell you what I'm looking for is have a bit of spherical shape, drop down. Then we can have something on the top like this. So first, just take care of this crevice shape. I'm gonna use a crease already, increase this, because I want to have a nice line. Draw the top of the lip as well. What is hard to make lips for beginners is make them look neutral pose. So I'm gonna try explaining as well as possible. What looks weird when you draw like that is that usually the top gonna be a bit lower than the bottom one. And the chin is gone. I'm gonna drag the chin a bit out. Another thing very important for lips is the chin separation. I'm gonna mask the top of the lip, do a few smooths, drag the corners in, and just clear the mask. What I see as well is that the head became a very disproportional of everything. I'm gonna mask. We're gonna worry about the proportions a bit later when we're gonna go in more advanced. And I'm gonna mask the lips, inverted. And I'm gonna drag it a bit more up higher. Try to make the corners neutral. I'm gonna mask the top lip again because I left it lower than the bottom one. What I mean by lower is this one is more pushed out forward when usually the top one should be pushed. I have a mask where I don't want, so I'm gonna use the simple mask and clear from the lip, top lip. Clear. Draw corners a little bit in because the nose is not a flat. Now, what I'm looking from the top is to have a nice oval shape. Don't forget it, oval shape. That's why we draw a bump. Oh, nice. That's why we drew this bump in here, so the shape of the mouth is as well drawn in there. It's a bit of the nose, but I like to push up the corner top.